特に片平派には。
あなたたちは何をしてるんですか？みんなのことが好きだってことだ。
Students in the Food Research Club fight back when their club is threatened. Hello and welcome back to our channel iSky. Today we are going to do a recap of the anime series called Love, Election, and Chocolate. Episode 9. Chisato has a creepy dream where she is offering her dead brother a chocolate bar. When he doesn't wake up, Chisato startles herself awake from this nightmare. Pretending to be okay, Chisato skips over to Yuuki's room and tells him it is time for the real campaign. Yakumo has pulled together all the members of the Safety Commission to update them on the situation. Since they cannot run in this election, their best bet is to allow Yuuki to win this one, as the ruling party has the best chance of winning. Since Yuuki is an independent SORTA backed by them, it might end well for them. Chisato and Yuuki are running late as they had to print off their flyers. They rush to reach the rest of the group when Yuuki runs into a young lady. He apologizes and introduces himself, but she had no idea he was running for student council president. He lays it on thick and Chisato gets pissed about it later. Yuuki then spots Satsuki and Hazuki having a disagreement and Hazuki walking away. Yuuki is confused as he thought they hashed out their problems last night, but Satsuki is mad because she thought she could have won the shogi game and Yuuki was the prize. Chisato and her jealous self slither up, but Satsuki tries to convince Chisato they weren't talking campaign issues. To make matters worse, Hazuki then thanks Yuuki for his help last in making things right. Meanwhile, the girl that Yuuki ran into early makes her way to the Safety Commission room, revealing herself to be Yuna, the person the food club was just talking about. She was the president of the Safety Commission until she got suspended for this financial student incident. Yuuki is making the rounds visiting other weird clubs. Chisato tells Yuuki not to including helping financial aid students in his speeches, as that would hurt the votes. They are in the minority, and they can help after the election but not before. Chisato accuses Yuuki of trying to help them because people were praising him for doing the right thing. She then starts crying, saying that Yuuki was leaving her behind.
いつも言ってるじゃないか。俺はず
Yuna and Yakumo talk alone in their room. She wants to use Yuuki as a puppet for her own causes, but Yakumo explains that Yuuki won't go for that. Yuna gets super creepy and implies that she might back the General Affairs Department instead, since their interests are similar. Chisato and Yuuki join some of their friends in a celebration of a successful day. After indirectly kissing Michiru, Yuuki is teased. He pretends to run away from his friends, but a truck rushes by and it appears he may have been hit. Chisato then has a freak-out moment as the situation reminds her of her brother. Episode 10. Through a series of flashbacks, the viewer learns how Chisato and Yuuki became friends. He was having a tantrum on his first day of school, and Chisato appeared to give him chocolate and calm him down. This works for a while, but Chisato continues to only offer Yuuki the chocolate no matter the situation. One day, Yuuki gets upset and refuses the treat. This sends Chisato back to a place where she didn't want to share chocolate with her brother, that ended with him getting hit by a car. Baby Chisato loses her mind and Yuuki accepts the chocolates to calm her down. He promises he is not disappearing and will remain by her side. Back to the present, and Chisato is crying her eyes out that Yuuki got hit by a car. He appears a second later totally fine, but she clings to him anyway. Yuuki sees Yakumo in the hospital as well, but is unable to reach him as Chisato is a part of his arm now. Satsuki runs to the snack club to find out what happened to Yuuki. No one seems worried and claim he is okay. He proves this a second later when he appears in the club room with Chisato on his arm. Eventually, it is time to go home, and Chisato will not let go of his arm to do anything. Not to change, not to eat, not to go to the bathroom. Yuuki gets frustrated and tries to take a shower. He yells at Chisato that he is sorry it happened, but he didn't mean to hurt her. She starts chanting that he is going to disappear and he lied to her. Yuuki hits Chisato because obviously that is the only way to calm a person down. She runs out of the room and returns with a chocolate bar. Yuuki refuses to eat it and says that Chisato doesn't love him. She is only using him as a replacement for her dead brother.
違わないだろ。大輝くんを見てるんだ。
Yuuki says that Chisato needs to eat the chocolate and be with him for him. Chisato attempts to eat the chocolate but throws up. Both spend the night getting no sleep and being miserable. Yuuki goes to school the next day and campaigns with everyone else while Chisato spends the day in bed. Yuuki makes his way to the club room where he finds Michiru in her underwear-less self doing something under a table. Yuuki gives back the harmonica that they were playing with before his car accident. He asks who Kana is as it is etched into the instrument. She says that Kana is her friend and she came to the school to find her but can't. She plays a sad little song on the harmonica and Yakumo runs in looking upset, talking about Kana. He covers it up and says he needs to talk to Chisato. When Yakumo learns that Chisato isn't there, he talks to Yuuki about his wanting to help the financial aid students. Yakumo says to drop the subject until after the election. Perhaps then Yuuki can take up his personal interests if he wins. Yuuki looks pissed. Yuna is seen in the security office talking about how stupid Yakumo is and that she will make sure the election goes the way they want it to. After all that jazz, Yuuki goes to the hospital to get a checkup. He runs into a girl who loses her contact lens. I have no idea who she is, but if I'm supposed to know her, I'm sorry. Yuuki decides to not look for the contact lens as he sees Yakumo going out the back door. Yuuki follows him and hears Yakumo very upset on the phone. Something about abandoning Kana, and that wasn't part of the plan. Yuuki continues his spying and follows Yakumo up to Kana's room. Yuuki sees the girl and is immediately clocked in the head. He wakes up handcuffed a chair and looking at Yakumo and his lackeys. Yuuki is forced to confess what he knows, so Yakumo decides to explain things to the confused boy. See, the safety commission can't possibly keep a school that big safe. So they bring in spies to be the eyes and ears of the safety commission and find things out before they get too big. Kana was one of Yakumo's personal spies as well as Michuri. Episode 11. Yuuki sits there in shock at the fact that Michuri is a spy. Yakumo keeps on talking that the people who run the school also answer to other people who have long graduated.
それじゃあカナさんはそれ以来
まだ大島優希にこだわってるみたいで。
To make things a little more complicated, this Katahira faction that Yuna keeps going on about is actually a group within the Security Commission. The Katahira faction agreed to give Kana treatment after she went too far in investigating things. However, they will pull back their treatment if Yakumo keeps backing Yuuki up. Also, Yakumo promises to make Yuuki's life miserable if he tells a soul about this. Yuuki starts talking about how Michuri deserves to know, but Yakumo won't allow that. Yakumo is sad as he had high hopes for Yuuki. He thought that Yuuki could help protect his secret, that funds are being spent to help out Kana. But now that is all over, Yakumo and his men go to leave when Yuuki grabs his cell phone and makes a 6-second phone call to tell Michuri where Kana. All chaos breaks loose and Yakumo's men go to the hospital to guard Kana. Only Michuri is already there and takes Kana outside. Michuri wheels the girl around and talks about how she became an agent to find her. She takes out the harmonica and plays the song that Kana taught her. Suddenly Kana wakes up as Yuuki and Yakumo hear the music. Yakumo and Michuri reunite with Kana and all is right in the world. Sometime after all this, there is a debate with all three of the candidates. Yuuki does well as everyone watches. Well, everyone but Michuri and Yakumo as they are at the hospital spending time with a conscious Kana. Yuuki does well, which pisses Yuna off. She thinks that Yakumo is still giving Yuuki his support, but she is told that Yakumo isn't. The snack club rejoices after the debate where they think Yuuki might have a chance. The topic of Chisato comes up and Mifuyu suggests how Yuuki can make Chisato better. She is like, go on a date with Chisato. Yuuki is like, while Chisato pretends that she is a normal girl now. Before the date can start, a man approaches them. Apparently the models for their bridal expos never came and they need a couple right now. So down the aisle Chisato and Yuuki go. It is beautiful wedding, but the couple hesitates to kiss. Little kids congratulate them for their cute wedding, which makes Chisato and Yuuki think back to when they did that to a happy bride. Yuuki realizes that he has loved Chisato all along but just didn't know that is what he was feeling.
また食べたいな。
そうね、今なら誰も見てないから。
Episode 12. Yuuki wakes up with their papers and treasures from the bridal event all over the ground, but no sign of Chisato. He answers his ringing phone and the creepy voice on the other side claims to have Chisato. Person on the phone says that they will return Chisato if Yuuki follows orders and tells no one what is going on. Yuuki is given instructions on where to go next on his wild goose chase. Michuri and Yakumo are visiting with a now awake Kana when Yuna walks in. Yuna pretends everything is smiles and rainbows and reminds Yakumo he has an election to oversee. Yuna promises to stay and help watch Kana, whom was never in any real danger, right? They are all friends. When Yakumo leaves, Yuna tries to pump Kana for information on what happened when she got hit by the car and if there are any more pictures. Michuri alerts Kana to Yuna being a black color, thus the girls decide to be quiet. Yuna eventually leaves the girls anyway. Sometime later, a beat-up and tired Yuuki finally finds Chisato in her underwear. He hugs her as she wakes up. She asks why he isn't at the election and he says that nothing matters but her. She is the most important thing to him ever. So ... she hits him in the head and says, for now you belong to everyone. Ai and Kai show up to bike Yuuki and Chisato to the speech podium. Yuuki makes it in time to say his name before he runs out of time. He starts causing a scene and before he is thrown out, Satsuki stands and says that it would be an injustice to not hear all the candidates' speech. She basically forces Moheiji to agree with her. Yuuki, instead of explaining why he was late and looks like crap, explains he was in Yakumo's back pocket the entire time and he didn't run the campaign truthfully. He wanted to help the financial aid students, but instead he followed Yakumo's rules on how to smile and say the right thing. Yuuki says even though he started his campaign to only save the snack club, now he wants to help the entire school and stop the fighting. Sometime in the future, Yuuki is elected president, Satsuki is vice president and in the snack club, and Asara is in the club, meaning the financial aid students have been freed. Yuuki isn't around at the moment as Chisato and him are paying their respects to Chisato's brother. Chisato is able to eat chocolate again and they share in a kiss. And that's all for today, guys. If you liked the recap and want more summaries like this, consider subscribing to our channel.